Hi, I'm Kevin from Gemini Outdoors, and today I am doing kind of a theory of use video or more of a how-to video. And today we're going to be talking about how to mount optics to a rifle system. Just to be clear, this is my own system that I use, my own style that I use. I've kind of adapted this from several other people's system that I've seen on YouTube. So it's not my own, but it kind of is, you know. You just kind of adapted what other people have done. But the first thing that we're going to do is, and the first thing that you need to know when doing this is, you're mounting the scope to the rifle, not the other way around. That's where a lot of people make their first mistake, is when they are mounting, they're trying to mount the rifle to the scope and not the other way around. So what we're going to do is you're going to check the locations and positions of your scope mounts on your scope to where it needs to be positioned on your rifle mount. So we're going to drag out the old gun rest here. We'll set this down here, more of this type of an angle, and then we're going to get a rifle. Safety check, the bolt is open, there's no ammunition, it is unloaded. SKS rifle with the Dragunov stock. So I'm going to put the rifle into the rest here, if it will cooperate with me. There we go. And then we're going to take the scope and we're going to position the scope here onto this. Okay. Now what you want to do, you're going to check two things from this point here. You want to check to make sure that your mounts are properly mounted onto the mount right here, onto the sight mount. You see, there's little slots on this mount, and you want to make sure that the screws or the bolts here go through those little slots. And what you want to do is you just want to rock it back and forth real easily. You don't want to do it too hard, and make sure that it's locked on there, and it is. So you position your mounts correctly. That's one of the mistakes that people make. They'll put their mounts on their scope, they won't check it to this, and when they go to put tighten it down and everything, they realize, oh, I messed up, I'm going to have to readjust it, and you'll have to go over and start all over again. Next thing we're going to check is our eye relief. And the way you do that, just leave it sitting where it's at, and just, you see you got your cheek piece here on my rifle. I'm going to put my cheek where I want it to be, and I'm going to look through and I'm going to check my relief. It looks pretty good. Okay, so now that I've got those two things checked, what I want to do, I'm going to take the scope off the rifle, and we'll set it off to the side. I'm going to take my rifle off of here, set it over here, and I'm going to get my gun rest out of the way. Alright, so what I'm going to do next, now that I know that the scope's going to fit to the rifle, you're going to have to level the scope. It could be cantered. What does that mean? Whenever you look through a scope, your crosshairs should look like a cross. When it's cantered, it's either cantered one way or the other, and it looks like an X. A lot of people who do this by, just eyeballing it, as I say, they get a lot of that. They'll mount it on there, and they're like, oh, it looks good, and then first time they put the rifle up and they look, oh no, it's cantered. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to redo all this stuff, and you're going to be going back and forth and back and forth. And it's just, this way is a lot easier to fix this with. So what we're going to do, we're going to check, in order to level this, we got to have a level surface. So I'm going to check it with one of these. You can go get these at any hardware store for around $5. It's just a little level. You can buy smaller ones, which I do recommend for doing the scope part of it. But if you're going to check your level on your table, one of these is just fine. And I'm going to check it in several locations. I just want to make sure that it's level. That position's level. All right, that spot's level. That spot's good. So now I'm going to take my scope and I'm going to set it right here. Now I know it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, that's another thing. It doesn't have to be completely perfect. It just has to be pretty good. Okay. So we got this set here now. Now we're going to take this small level, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on top of my turret cap here. Now you can, for some of you guys out there, I know what you're going to say, oh, you need to take this off and put it on top of the turret itself. You can do that. There's some, but with this particular scope, it has a knob on it that's going to keep me from doing that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the cap. The cap is fine. And I'm going to set it on here. And the first thing I notice is it's off. So now I'm going to make an adjustment, and I'm going to make this thing as level as I can. Right there. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this right where it's at, the level right where it's at, and I'm going to take my screwdriver, Allen wrench, whatever you're going to use to tighten this down. Now you're going to tighten it down very carefully. This is another part where a lot of people mess up. You just want to snug it, because that right there could happen. You see how that moved? Now we've got to check. Go of it. Alright. I'm going to check, and we're still looking good. Now I'm going to come over here to this, and I'm going to snug it down. Just snug it. Okay. We'll come back here. This thing's magnetic. Alright, snugging it. When you start to feel pressure, just stop. I usually what I do, I'll just use my fingertips. If I feel it starting to snug up, I'll stop. You want to tighten all 4 of these, or however many you have down. Okay. Now, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to check it again, just to make sure it hasn't moved or anything. I've checked it again. All right, we're good. So now I can remove the level. Don't set it off too far. So now I can take this and I can really tighten it down really good. So I've gotten that in pretty tight. Come over here. That one's pretty tight. We'll come back here. Tighten this one down. I know they got all kinds of little gadgets to do, but usually what I do, I'll just tighten them pretty good, and we should be good right there. Next step, check your level again. It's very important. You move just a little bit. I think we're still good though. Alright, now that we've got this part done, now we're going to mount it to the rifle. So here comes my gun rest. Back up here. Rifle going back up on here. Just like that. And now put this on. Okay, same thing. Check it to make sure it doesn't slide up and down here. Now you got it good. Now we're going to hand tighten this onto the mount, such as this. And then up here we're going to hand tighten it. Okay. Pretty good. Get your regular screwdriver. This just takes a regular flathead screwdriver. I'm going to turn this, and it takes a hex head too. You can do it with a hex head, but I just use a flathead since I already got it out. And now I'm going to tighten it down really good. I might have to stand up for this. So, and the reason I'm mounting this scope on here, that's good. I'm going to take this rifle and I'm going to turn it into what is called a sapper. a semi-automatic precision rifle. It's a very heavy rifle. I'm not going to lie about that. This is not something that I would carry around for a tactical type deal. This is something that I would use for, say, if I was defending a fixed position, say a checkpoint, if you're in WROL or whatnot. It's just this stock makes it really heavy, but it also makes it a really good shooting platform. It could also be used for hunting. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to check with my eye and see if it looks pretty level, which it does. Looks pretty good. Now I got to make sure, but I got to make sure that the rifle itself is level when I'm checking this. So I'm going to throw this up here again. Pretty good. So now I just look through it, cheat weld where I need to be. Looks good. We have completed it. That's all it is to it, folks. It's not really that difficult of a thing to do, but a lot of people get it wrong because they don't take time to do their preparation, their prep work, and get this thing put on right. So now all that's left to do is to sight it in, zero it, and that's a completely different video from what we're doing right now. I'm planning on doing that video sometime in the future. This is just something I could do around the house, and right now I just, I don't have the time or the resources to go do that particular video right now, but it will be coming in the future. So keep your eyes out for it. Have a good one.